past, so I will make a start. Right, good evening, councillors and ladies and gentlemen. Before we start into the agenda, could I just draw your attention to the fact that we record and film all of our meetings here, so these are now being filmed for your awareness. And also to advise you that at town we are an advisory committee. We are not the planning authority, but we will make recommendations to the planning authority of St Albans City and District. And we're not expecting any emergencies tonight. We do, airline style. The emergency exits, they're in there, and we gather in the car park. And with that, I'll make a start, and councillors, if you're agreeable, since we have people here tonight, we'll take the two items that people are here for first, and perhaps if we could take Dacres Court first. Oh, sorry, I forgot you. Yes, I've been on holiday, it's had an effect on the mind. Yes, do we have any apologies? No, we're full health. And also I should ask councillors if there are any declarations of interest. No. And we better do the minutes, haven't we? Even if on holiday, it matches the framework. I wasn't actually at the last meeting, so those councillors who were, could I ask you if you're happy for me to sign those as a true and correct record? Thank you.
We had one letter of objection which was circulated to regarding.
Thank you. In that case, we'll go straight into the applications that we are looking at this evening. And I would suggest that first of all, since there are quite a few people here, that we take the application in respect to Dacres Court, which is application number 5191461, and I understand we have a speaker. Yes, if you'd like to come.
Thank you.
To the table, and you have about 3 minutes.
I've been told it's 3 minutes very strictly, actually.
Yes,
thank you very much indeed for allowing me in.
And
I'd rather stand, actually, more comfortable standing. My name is David Collins. I live at 16 Dacres Court and have done for 18 years, and before that a further 30 years in Wood End, so I know the town very well. My reason for being here is that along with many of my co-leaseholders, of whom there are 3 here, I'll introduce them to you later if you like, we have a very strong objection indeed to this application to build 3 flats on the side of the upper block of Dacres Court. This is a replacement by Mr. Hesketh for the 4-flat application which he withdrew. So we end up with an application for 3, and I think it's important to point out that he has already, of course, got approval to build 8 flats on the top of the existing blocks, so that in all the effect of this application is going to be to build 11 extra flats of the 24 that are there already. Now, for 40 years, when the flats were built, there have been 24 flats, there have been 13 car parking spaces, and there have been 9 points on the curb where we can park. There are 1 or 2 forbidden places, but they're pretty obvious really, like you can't block a garage or something like this. So that is actually the maximum space that we have at the moment. 13 plus the 9 is 22. We have 22 car parking spaces for the 24 flats we currently have. This application, 1461, plus the previous one for 8 flats, would add 11 flats onto that 24, making 35.
I don't believe it. Took forever to find, excuse me.
There is a lot of guidance on parking spaces and how many one needs, a builder needs, a developer needs, for flats of various sizes. They are contained in both all three of the St Albans Development Plan 1994 as amended, in the Harpenden Neighbourhood Plan, and in the Department of the Environment guidelines on such things. They all pretty well say the same thing, which is to say for a 2-bedroom flat you should have 1.5 parking spaces, and for a 1-bedroom flat you should have 1.25. And all that sounds about right, I suppose. But this is the guidelines, they are solid, and they are consistent. Now, if this application were to go ahead, we would, according to that formula, need 52 car parking spaces. Only 6 are proposed, and indeed, more could not be proposed because there isn't any other room for them. So the arithmetic says that we have 22 spaces plus 6 proposed in this and the previous application, 28 in total against the guidelines of 52. In other words, we are going to be 24 parking spaces short. And that's the crux of the matter. Of course, if it was 2 or 3 or maybe even 4, you could say, well, you can nudge it a bit or fudge it a bit or find some way out of it. You cannot find the way out of 24 shortage of parking spaces because there's no public parking on the roads nearby, and it is simply going to be impossible to live for car owners when you are 24 car parking spaces short. And that's my contention. Thank you very much.
Trying to get in. Throw this over to you.
I think I'll go straight in and say that I would recommend refusal. I think it's definitely an overdevelopment of the site. It's certainly not amenity for the existing people, residents who live there. The car parking is an issue, but for me it's not the major issue at all. I think it's an overdevelopment, and I would recommend refusal.
I agree with that. Can I just ask for clarification? Is the lease, the person the leases are, Michael Hesworth is the leaseholder, do you have leases with?
He's a freeholder.
He's a freeholder, yes, and you've leased from him. My point about that is I think that's relevant in that there's a long-term contract and there's various statements in the lease, and I think that's a significant change to the lease conditions. That may be outside of our span, accept that, but
but it is actually.
I do also agree with the other
point. It is
point.
not actually planning.
Yes.
It's strictly.
Yes, I don't disagree with any of that.
Well, yeah, I think it's, the car parking isn't ideal, but I think it would be considered so close to the station and the centre of town that the latest planning guidelines, I don't know what act it is, I can't remember, but would allow probably no parking spaces for a flat there because it's a sustainable location. So I don't think that is necessarily the best argument, but I think the extra feels as though we're just trying to squeeze a little bit too much in here, and it is an overdevelopment.
I absolutely agree. This is quite clearly an overdevelopment, the difference in the car parking is significant. I don't think in any way we should be encouraging under provision of car parking. We have enough cars on the roads, in the parking on the roads as it is. To squeeze a number of flats that we'd be talking about here in what appears to be a relatively concise site would appear to be a considerable overdevelopment.
I don't think I can add anything that has been said
No,
already.
I don't think I would, I would just add in that the previous reasons where we recommended refusal do not appear to have been addressed. There is loss of amenity. And there's also, not mentioned it previously, there's also an issue with trees.
Yes, definitely.
Protection orders on them. So, could I just ask if you could just formally signify that we're recommending refusal? Thank you. And I think I think the wording is to be similar to our previous, that we resolve to recommend refusal. The proposal does not conform to some policies of the Department of Neighbourhood Plan, and that the development is in close proximity to existing trees, and therefore it could result in unacceptable damage to them, and that's policy ESD 14. Trees and hedges. I think we could add that the new dwellings do not include private or shared outdoor amenity space, and therefore would result in the loss of existing outdoor space, which is policy H9 of the Neighbourhood Plan regarding private outdoor space and residential development. And I think we can add in that additionally policies 72 little Roman 5, extensions in residential areas, and policy 74, landscaping and tree preservation of the St Albans District Local Plan review do not appear to have been conformed with. So recommend refusal. You're very welcome to remain for the rest of the meeting, but it's not an exciting evening necessarily.
I think we've got that's right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We also have speakers in respect of 519-1184, which is 2830 Coldwater Lane. Could you take that next, please? And I'll invite whichever of you is speaking. Yes.
Oh, are you going to?
Yes,
The first one.
I've got paperwork.
It's page 19, it's the first application.
Okay, yeah.
Do sit down, first.
I am here.
I will try and keep it very brief, 3 minutes for you. Good evening. My name is Mark Bashford. I am the owner of Chelford Fabrics and also a local resident for the past 48 years. I'm just here to clarify the application for change of use of part of the building. It is to enable us to relocate from our current adjoining building, which is no longer fit for purpose. The premises at 2830 Cold Harbour Lane offers us a unique opportunity to restructure our business to the ever-changing market conditions, and in particular the online competition. Including the current car wash, we employ 20 people, of which the majority are local residents. And being able to relocate to 2830, this will enable us to retain our local staff and valued customers. I understand that in the purest sense, we would not be complying with the Hartland Neighbourhood Plan in terms of B1. But the proposal is only for a change of use of part of the building to retail. The remaining will be offices, storage and other B1 uses. The current occupiers of the front of the building, architects will remain, and a kitchen retail showroom will also remain. And we also intend to incorporate a mezzanine which will increase the office and storage area by 17,000 square feet. From what I have been told, when the premises were used by Jarvis as joinery, only 5 to 6 people were ever employed, and the premises has been vacant for 2 years. Finally, as a company, we have been established in Harpenden, and more particularly Cold Harbour Lane, since 1998. And as a local business, have offered a valuable service to residents, businesses and the wider community of Harpenden, from which I can gather is part of the vision of the neighbourhood plan for Harpenden. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Right, next one, Joe Hofer.
I think I've got quite a lot of them.
If you were to sort of unfold them and put them in the middle.
I didn't realise quite how many I've got until I started looking through them. If anyone needs any explanation, then please don't hesitate to ask.
Round and then see, perhaps go round to see who would like to comment.
You won't have any minutes.
No, I have flicked through most of them.
Can someone guide me to the change of use?
It's page 26.
It looks like here somewhere, but I can't say I remember all the pages. Right, yeah.
So what is it being used for? No, the premise is empty now, is that right? And
Do you want me to answer that? Yes, in terms of long-term tenancy, the property is vacant at the rear element. Front element is occupied by an architect and a Brynmore Interior who manufactures kitchens. At the moment, the food bank is in residence, so we're letting the food bank use it as a temporary location.
And what do you want to use it for?
What would...
So, Chair, you have potential
Yes,
to suspend standing orders in order to
Yes,
take
I was
questions.
going to say, sorry to interrupt you, Councillor. I actually need to suspend standing orders. If other councillors are agreeable, I'm happy to do so for you to ask that question, and then we'll revert back to standing orders, but you do need to do that, you can't just dive in. Yes, everybody okay to do that?
Absolutely.
That's fine. Okay, that's
thank
your
you.
question.
Sorry, so I'm just trying to get a feel for what it was used for and what it is going to be used
So,
for.
historically, it was used, the front section has been and always will continue to be used for the architects and Brynmore Interiors. The rear section was, up until 2 or 3 years ago, used by our joinery. We closed the joinery business, which it wasn't profitable. From the date we closed it, the property was then vacant. It advertised and marketed with not sufficient interest in the property. We allowed the food bank in on a temporary basis. Our proposals are, as Mr. Bashford has explained, is that he would like to relocate his business from the adjoining property to this property. In order to do that, we need to expand the site into Chelford Fabrics site at the moment. The rear section will then be used for a mixture of showroom, quasi retail, offices together with storage, and would also be looking to relocate the car wash, which is currently in the Chelford Fabrics site, through to the other part of the site, or to the 28 to 30. It should also be noted by the committee that an application has recently been submitted on the balance of the Chelford Fabric site. I don't think that application has yet been validated, but that application will be going through. That application is for a care home. So again, we'll be having similar discussions in terms of uses related to care home, but in terms of this application of 28 to 30, those are the uses for the site.
Okay, well, councillors will now revert to standing orders, so we'll keep the discussion on the table. Right, you'd like to kick off.
One thing I'm trying to understand is how many will jobs be created here from this proposal against the number of people currently employed? I'm trying to understand whether this is going to and employment benefit. I'm not quite sure whether it does or it doesn't.
I think it's just moving it from one building to
Yeah.
another.
I think it's preserving.
Just preserving it.
Yes, it's preserving employment.
I'm failing to see what, in some sense, why we're having this discussion, because it's a private business that's changing the way it wants to operate, having had one unprofitable bit of business not working, they want to do another piece of business they seem to be profitable. So from my perspective, unless there's some loss of amenity to somebody else in that, I mean, for example, and I'm not saying that's the case, if with a car wash relocated, noise or extra, is noise or other sort of externality is created somewhere else, I don't see why we're actually engaged in this discussion, So if somebody can tell me what might be the objection, I'll listen to it, but otherwise I can't see what our role is in this.
So,
Yes, all right.
so
Yes,
Chair,
yes, I know.
if I go ahead in there, I think in the officer observations, the key one that we would flag is ER2, which is in relation to designated employment locations. Now, the Harpen Neighbourhood Plan on the ER2 sets out that Cold Harbour Lane is an employment location, and in these locations, any change of use from a to a non-B class won't be supported unless it can be demonstrated that the premises is no longer suitable for business use, or there's clear evidence that no prospect of new commercial occupier being found. So the reason why I think that the discussion is being had is, and part of your consideration, should you wish to not have, wish to have no objection, would be whether you are satisfied under the neighbourhood plan that it's demonstrated that the premises is no longer suitable for B class.
Okay, and then I'm sorry, early days for me, but if we don't think that we're talking about preservation of employment, what does the significance of B class or not, the different sorts of employment?
So B class is employment uses. So the fact that that's designated as an employment location, the idea in the neighbourhood plan is that employment locations are protected for that class, so that in the future they can be changed to other classes that loses employment in the town.
Such as residential.
Residential.
That isn't in it, is it?
No.
No. So residential is not in this application, no, but as I think as the applicant pointed out, there will be an application coming forward on the upper part of the site for residential, or specialist accommodation.
Yes, although, because strictly speaking, if it is strictly speaking, we are looking at this application, and anything else that has not come forward is not relevant. In the sense, you can only look at what is in front of you. And what we're basically looking at is, I think, is got to decide. We're looking at it's a change of use, but it's preserving jobs with a business that has been located there a very, very, very long time.
Yes, that's my sympathy there.
Yes, and I think it's one can allow for. I realise it is, in a sense, not strictly speaking within the policies, but however, it is looking at. It is employment, and it's employment that we know has been there for. Since 1998, I think. Yes, so yes.
Is there, and I'm not familiar with the different Bs and the As, but is there anything which kind of makes it easier to change to residential accommodation in the future if you are an A rather than a B? So it's not the start of a continuum.
No. And there will be an element, incidentally, there will be an element of B employment within it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not actually.
Yes. Yeah.
We've had this clarified. It's not actually going to be totally retail showroom. There will be other employment as well.
I don't have a problem with it.
No. I mean, I realise it's not strictly within it. However, I actually feel that it is acceptable in the circumstances.
I think as well with ER2 about unless it can be demonstrated that the premises are no longer suitable for business use. If the property's been occupied for 2 years for commercial use, then
Yeah.
I think you struggle to find a sort of cut-off point that says how long is too long. But if they've been able to find an occupier for 2 years, I'd say that's probably evidence that it's not suitable for use in its current form. So I think there's an argument within the argument.
In that case, am I right in thinking that the general view is that you're minded towards no objection?
Yep.
No? Okay, now we have to come up with some suitable wording, and I think it'll have to be something along the lines of recommendation as to, or recommendation of no objection. I think we need to say something that it was accepted, but it's not. Could be argued, I think it could be argued that it does not strictly conform to policies ER1, ER2 and ER8 of the Harpenden Neighbourhood Plan, but it was felt that this was mitigated by the fact that it is represents the continuation of a very long established business on Culver Harbour Lane and would protect a significant number of jobs that will move to the new site, something along that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, Chair, I think I would, my suggestion would be just to add a reference to ER2.
Yes,
So
just
the
ER2.
committee notes that it's not in strict conformity to ER2, however, it is satisfied that the application,
yes,
the points you made there.
yes. Okay. You don't need to say. Unless you have an overwhelming urge to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon.
I think that's it, wasn't it?
It wasn't entirely clear, was it, that this was relocation of an existing business,
No, it wasn't.
which has been there for a very long time.
And it's in a terrible state, that building. I'm so surprised when I moved. I can't believe it's a residential store.
We'll meet that one.
Care home, is it?
Yeah. Well, we'll meet that one.
Presumably that's maybe why that business is moving across to make way for the care home, possibly.
Well, I think it's probably because I think they probably want to change the configuration of their showroom and everything they have there. Anyway, okay, if we can now just move on and work our way through the agenda. So we're on page 19 and we'll now just work our way through in order. So we've got 5/19/1350 for 2 detached garages at 13 Whiting's Close, which doesn't meet the criteria required for consideration by the committee. If anybody sees any of these and they feel differently, they could just put their hand up and let me know, and then we can discuss it. 5/19/1354, which is a discharge of conditions at Crabtree Junior School, so that doesn't require any comments by the committee. 5/19/1355, which is advertising consent for an internally illuminated pylon sign at Esso Harpenden on the Lower Luton Road, which again does not meet the criteria required for consideration since it's an internally illuminated sign. 5/19/1383, which is again is a discharge of conditions relating to 33 Stewart Road. No comment is required by the committee. Then we go to 5/19/1421, which is basically consultation only, and it's a section 73 application to vary a condition on.
Yeah, sorry, Chair. This application actually went to planning referral on the 1st of July, and St Albans District Council had no objection to it.
So it's actually gone through anyway. So no. So that's fine. And it was a non-material. It was a non-material, very minor amendment. So Right, that's gone through, so we won't settle that. 5191364, front porch extension at 9 Falconers Field, which again does not meet the criteria required for consideration. And then we go on to one that we do need to look at, 5191411, which is a replacement 4-bedroom dwelling following the demolition of the existing property at 22 The Close, Nottingham. We could sort of pass round the plan.
I don't people investigate.
Show them round. If we could put the Vicky on.
That is the existing, that's the proposed.
Yes. Yes, I think we might. I'm just putting up a picture of the actual site to go up on there. Well, I'm not really. There we go, just so people can see. It sometimes helps us to be able to look at the... Well, we'll just have to look at a small picture.
So it looks to be bungalows, so there's that.
Yes, they are primarily, yes, they are.
That's quite useful, the one that you've just got.
I always find those useful, because you can see the scale
Yeah.
in relation to the other buildings, which is always helpful. And also, once there's time to rather always have a look. But I mean, as councillors don't always have time to do that. It is a quite a small constrained road close. Yes, those who don't know it.
So the ones on the other side,
Yeah.
close, are 2-storey.
Yes.
See, then it's this side,
It is side of
is the
the
bungalows.
bungalows.
Just looking on the map, are we on the wrong side of the crescent on the street?
Because there's a dog leg on it, isn't it? If it's a funny shaped road, there's a dog leg. So anyway, looking at the plans and what have you, so let's see what ask councillors for your opinion.
Oh, yeah, I think it's new development again. I think it's better than lots of amenities from next to it.
Yes, it's going to be very... Well, if you just look at the street view.
So which side is it on the normal side?
I think it's somewhere around, yeah, somewhere around
This
there.
side or this side?
It's, if you're going up the 1081, it's on further bit
Yeah.
of the,
Near the little red
with a little red dot.
thing, isn't it?
That's taken us to the same place again, isn't it? So the street view's not working because we put it on there 3 times and it's taken us over.
Yes, it'll take too long, so if we just look at the
Okay.
the drawings.
I suppose the question is, well, I don't know, is the question partly how you feel about bungalows, in the sense that if you have a street which is all bungalows, at some point, if one person makes their house higher, then over the next few years, probably quite a lot of other people are going to as well.
Yes.
And I don't know whether
Yes, but you're looking at it as is now, not as it might be in several
Yeah.
years' time. You can only look at it you can only look at an application
Yeah,
on the basis
no.
of how it is now. And I think the question is whether one feels it's, regardless of what might happen in the future, whether it is, you feel it's an overdevelopment on the site. Yes.
Yeah, it's one side, but not the other, and that's because of the difference in level.
Yes, so so it's just on one side, there is the potential for a detrimental effect on loss of amenity.
Do we know whether the parking is sufficient for a full bedroom dwelling? There's thinking enough on-road parking there that would be viable.
Retaining the 3 off-street parking spaces.
It will.
I think it would meet the parking.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not the easiest road for parking.
I mean, if the smaller house next door doesn't have any side windows, which I guess it probably does, but I mean, you could argue, yes, they have been looking at a building that is lower, but is looking at a taller building next door to you massively detrimental?
Well, it depends on the context. You have to take a view on whether it's an overdevelopment of the site.
Yeah.
It's not a big site.
Councillor Fox, at what point do the housing objectives play a factor? Because HO1, providing a mix of housing that meets current gaps in the housing market, specifically 1 to 2 bed flat bungalows. Housing objectives, HO1,
Yeah.
provide a mix of housing that meets current gaps in housing market, specifically 1 to 2 bed flats and bungalows.
Yeah, this would be in terms of a 3-bedroom to
Yes.
a 4-bedroom.
So it's actually, yes,
Yeah.
which is not ideally, because in fact we're keen to look at having a spread of homes that are smaller, which goes, I think, towards the fact that it's an overdevelopment. The site it does not conform with our desire for the availability of smaller properties.
I think that's a fair enough argument. Personally, I think that for me that is a more compelling argument than saying it's an overdevelopment. But I mean that's just my personal view.
Which you're entitled.
Yeah.
HO3.
And that's my little guide thing at home.
Yeah, well, it was part of the whole package, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're thinking both HO1, which is the mix of housing,
Which is the mix.
and then
Yes.
HO3 is support the ability for older people to downsize if they wish to.
Yeah.
And HO4 is support the redeveloped housing stock comes at the end of its lifespan. That probably doesn't appear to be at the end of its lifespan, so it
No,
doesn't,
it doesn't.
it's not a trade-off between the two.
I mean, I think the key one is the size of the property. So, are these...
I think that the housing stock point is very important. You need to keep a mix of stock in Hartlepool.
Yes.
And I think the point that was made earlier is if one of these converts, then it's very likely, I suspect, that others will convert as well. And therefore, there is a damage, and there is a shortage of this type of.
And there is an issue that in fact with the smaller sort of housing that we do need, the trend is for it to get larger, and that exacerbates this ongoing problem of having smaller homes for downsizing or indeed for people starting out.
Buyers.
Or for first time buyers. So, and I think it's something that we need to watch, because this sort of property is much needed.
Anybody else?
So could I ask councillors, are we minded to review? Okay, have you, yes, the recommendation was to refuse as it did not meet policies
It's 801 and
801 and 80.
Chair, my suggestion would be that it's a recommended refusal based on the fact it doesn't meet the housing objectives within that neighbourhood
Yes.
plan. HO1 and HO2 aren't policies themselves, so we can say it doesn't meet
The objectives.
It conflicts with the objectives of housing objectives HO1 and HO2. In addition, it doesn't
Or
meet the,
HO3 indeed.
it doesn't meet the H2 policy
So
regarding
it's
housing
policy.
renewal. H3 you couldn't use because it's
Couldn't
not
use
major
because it's not a
residential.
new,
funding.
not major.
So I think that's what you would be
Yes,
using
I
on the
think
housing
you,
side.
have you got those? So you need to say it's not in keeping with the objectives 1, 2 and 3,
Yeah.
and it does not conform with policy H2. Okay. Right. Moving on to, yes, you did. 519-1371. We don't need to consider that one as it does not meet the criteria required for consideration by the committee. 519-1377 at 51 Sibley Avenue. Perhaps if we could have a quick look at the plans for that to see if members of the committee are satisfied that it does conform to the relevant policies and with these objectives. We can have a quick look.
Right, on this one, says that plenty of parking, on the ground floor, the garage is to be retained with a study to be added behind it, and it's a small increase at the front to make it slightly larger. First floor is got a side extension to contain a dressing room and ensuite, and it's going to be pulled in over the garage, and it's going to be full length of the garage. No side windows to impact on it.
It looked okay to me. It looks fine to me inside, so it's a reasonable size. It's reasonably,
Yeah.
the site can take that level of extension. Okay, are we all happy with that then? Yes. Bishop, thank you.
Not everybody showed their hands.
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
Bill. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. 519-0698, which is a two-storey single part, two-storey rear extension, loft conversion, rear door, window, front light, pitch front roof, at 3 Rowan Way, Harpenden. And if we could look at this, and I think, amongst other things, I think there was an issue with not meeting the parking requirements on this one.
Or if you look at the block plan, you can see that they appear to have allowed the one parking. They're making it from a 3 to a 5 bedroom house. So it's obviously insufficient parking provision on a narrow street. The attached property has done a similar extension, but I think they've allowed more parking, and their roof line is more subservient, whereas the design on this property is more bulky and domineering. It doesn't really match the neighbouring property.
No, because it's fairly consistent street scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's quite obvious from that there's not going to be enough parking on that side.
Well, there's certainly no, there's not going to be enough parking.
it too long, so not particularly essential.
So it's the house on the right, is it?
Just double check.
Oh, okay.
I've got the plan, so
Yes, I think it's town. Yes, pretty good plan, you know, but I think it's the one on the right.
Proposed.
Yeah,
So that's it would be quite good to see that against this.
You want to-
I think from that, it suggested that,
Yes, I think it's the one on the right.
although that looks a lot steeper at the roof, but that may just be the angle we're sat at on the Google Maps.
That's
a solid roof extension.
It's a pretty, yes, it's a pretty big
Yeah.
increase. I mean, it's
Have a look, Matt.
going to be a lot of roof, but yes, I think I'd be slightly concerned about that ridge height.
It's going to swell up the whole of the halfway to the side, isn't it?
But that's why I guess it goes from, it's reducing the car parking space, because at the moment now one presumes you can get two cars nose to
Yeah.
tail on the right.
Nose to tail on that.
And you're not going
Yes,
to be
you're
able
not
to
going to
drive.
be able to do that.
Now, they could say, if it was all about parking, well, I'll just do like my neighbour has and I'll park in front of my house as well.
True.
But, yeah, the roof is rather overbearing.
It is, decidedly, yes.
Mm.
It's,
Can we look up and down the street a bit? Before we find that all the neighbours have done exactly the same. Like that one opposite.
No, because it's maintained the same side of the house.
Yes, that's
Where it
true,
goes
yes,
right
that's true.
out, isn't it?
yes.
And what do you think when you're on the second floor? Is it 3 metres from the boundary? Second floor?
Can't remember exactly how much, but I read it was 14 something.
Yeah.
I think it's only a metre.
It's a metre, isn't it?
Is
It's a metre from the boundary. It's a metre from the boundary. You have to be in
And ground floor you can be right up to
right up to on the ground floor and a metre at the up to.
I remember when the house was one.
So it's picked up on ESD1 and ESD2. Is there anything in particular in ESD1 and ESD2 that you didn't comply?
So it would be mainly ESD2 in relation to the height and scale.
Okay.
Which would be the yes, which would be sort of street scene and how it fits in with the.
We've got something in there.
So it's the height scale. It's the height. In particular, I think it's the height and the scale,
Yeah,
which would. It's not really two because it's ESD 2-1. It's ESD 2-1.
It's going from 3 bedrooms to 5,
Yeah.
again outside of...
Which outside of
objectives.
preserving objectives of this.
I mean, my observation is they just kind of take liberties. That in the sense of, in the sense of, it's like, okay, let's slap this thing down and we'll ignore the car parking, we'll ignore, for something that doesn't seem to be a material improvement other than to the value of their house. And I get that, but I don't think they...
Well, I don't think...
They've pushed it, as I said, other properties have made, increased the size without pushing the properties, their property out against the
Well,
neighbours.
it's just too...
And others have done it by providing more car parking.
it's just too
spaces.
big. It's just too big a...
Yeah.
Yes, it's just so... It is, as we said, it's the size and the scale
Yeah.
is too much, and the parking is wholly inadequate. So I think, are we invited to refuse? Thank you. So, as we say, we recommend refusal. I think I say that the does not conform with policies ESD 2, little one, and H2, and also does not meet parking.
It's 40/30.
Yes. Yes, SADC local plan does not conform with parking requirements. Okay, fine. So we've got 5191117, 15 Fairmead Avenue. Do we want to have a quick look at that? It looks okay. But just see if councillors want to make any comments.
Did they sort out the egress and access?
Yes, I'm going to have a look at the, so we can have a look at the,
Is there an issue with it?
Well, there was last time, so we just wondered if they've addressed it.
That's how I ended up doing last time.
so we could just have a look at, see if we think there is an issue with the access.
Oh, there's a lamppost.
Yes, I don't think I was,
There's a lamppost, so presumably that's a problem.
oh yes, because they're still trying to widen the, widen the front outstanding. So is that, I can't see you've got the plans in front of you. So does that include, is that, as it were, going all the way down the drive to widen it? As it were? Really, yeah.
Can we have a look at how it looks at the moment?
If you take both cars out together, you can get one post. It's not much of a challenge.
Is it? It's okay. I can't see it
I'd
really.
like to think I could get both cars out that post. Even when the lights all been switched off at midnight. The local political issues at the moment.
I mean, I have to say, there are quite a few houses in Hartford, they've got a lamppost right by them. By the, I mean, I can see friends who've got lampposts right on the edge of their.
I think because they've dropped it down.
Because they've dropped down the curve.
It's easy to swing one in and out. They should try and take both out at the same time, but should be able to coordinate that.
What's
Is it here, do you think?
I can get that. You're hitting that number first.
Oh, right, yeah, that.
You can get that.
That should be,
Yeah.
it should be all right, should be able to get out there.
So what was the problem last time? We don't know.
I don't know, because I wasn't here.
Yeah, me neither, so
I've no
trying to work
idea.
out what we were not happy about last time. Well, fair enough.
Well, some
I
particularly,
can't see any.
I can't see any particular issue.
Can I ask a question about, related to the last town council meeting, which was obviously about runoff and flooding. And we've seen in the last property a sink, they had a term for it, a sink of a bit of garden, and here there's a bit patch of grass, a really a ropey patch of grass. Are we able to, is someone able to, maybe they said, or say, you know, you can have that, if you want an excess parking space, yes, but it has to be, they were showing us a design where the surface was hard but was permeable.
Yes.
Are we able to put as a planning condition that yeah, you could, this can go and you have the parking space, but it must be permeable? I mean, I know that's a small contribution to the total runoff issue, but if everyone does that, I'll be quite thinking.
I believe that becomes one of the planning conditions when you're given permission.
Right.
That you have a choice of different types of surfaces. So if you have to either put some sort of drainage surface in, either with if you have gravel, if you have grass, you have permeable. So that's something that sometimes the district council sticks with.
Okay. And are we able to, I mean, obviously we rely on the district council to do that, are we able to, in our first look, say, you know, we, for example, we've approved this, provided this condition is put in, and that just triggers the district council to remind them to make sure they write that in.
You can put that in if you want to.
Yes, we can do that.
So This is more for the general, as we'd seen 2 in a row, there was
Yeah.
potential loss of that drainage.
Okay, I think it's okay. I can't get out of that. No. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you minded just to put something in about? Just
Just
to mind about, yes, permeable, yes, or whatever. Permeable, or just have the various ways of achieving that. One. 5191134, sorry, again. It's in a non-material amendment to installation of roof lights to Hatching Hall and Redbourne Lane, which doesn't meet criteria required for consideration by the committee. That's okay. 5191220, again a single-storey extension with roof light and 2-storey side rear extension, which does not meet criteria required for consideration by the committee. 5191360 is a certificate of lawfulness in respect of Full Walton Place, so we're not required to comment on that. Okay, then we go to 5191361, which is installation of external prompt and extract equipment. Retrospective resubmission at the Giving Squid on Amonbury Lane.
Do we know why the previous one was withdrawn?
But I think it's often because they might get a steer from the planning officer that what they've suggested originally might get withdrawn with didn't meet the requirements or whatever. But if they do position a piece of equipment somewhere else, then it's more likely to be acceptable.
The changes that they've made to this application is that they've put some galvanised cladding around the ducting now to form a chimney, and they've put some lead flashing 4 feet at the base, and they've downsized on the air conditioning unit to 43.
That's hot.
Have you got any views? No. Right, are we happy? Could everybody stick their hands up in the air? Thank you. Or not, thank you. I think it's good. 5191363. Single-storey front porch extension at Paul Walker's Close. That doesn't meet requirements for us to consider it. 5191368 is a non-material amendment. Oh, actually, strictly speaking, any of us are district councillors. We haven't registered on this, we should declare a non-pecuniary interest, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading it now.
Yes, I haven't quite registered that.
Okay, I agree. I declare a
non-pecuniary interest. And actually, we shouldn't vote.
Right.
We won't vote on this one.
Chair, I would just...
We're not voting anyway.
As this doesn't meet the
Yeah.
criteria...
It doesn't matter anyway, does it? We don't need to vote.
No,
It's all right. Probably don't need to.
no.
We don't need to. No, I just suddenly thought that we ought to have done. I've suddenly registered. Yeah, that's all right then. Just making sure I do that. 5191372. A discharge of conditions again, so we don't need to comment. 5191375. Parasol seating areas in archway and front garden, together with landscaping works, doesn't meet the criteria required for consideration. So I take it that's a commercial premises, not somebody's private front garden. On Leighton Road. Is it?
It's the...
It's not the Legion, whatever that's called now.
one on the...
on the green.
Oh, they've got new tables and
I think
parasols.
it was that one.
Okay, anyway, it doesn't meet the requirements for consideration. I just wondered where it was. 59150 which is the same, actually relates into the one above, so it doesn't meet the criteria for consideration. (5191484) is a certificate of life of lawfulness at 45 Lake Short, so we can comment on that one. 5191496 is another certificate of lawfulness, so we don't need to comment on that. 5191202 is a variation of condition 4 on obscure glazing and non-opening of planning permission 5/2017/0019, doesn't meet the criteria for consideration by the committee. Okay, next one we do need to look at 5191251. This has had a long history, doesn't it? Demolition of existing and erection of replacement dwelling with integral garage and new access at 10 Tufnells Way. Let's have a look at this one. So we flew through extending it to 2013, the last time it came up, knocking it down and doing something else. Can you just, sorry, can you just, yeah. Yes, it's exciting.
Application says no loss of trees. And there's various designs along the street.
Yes, so the Tufnells Way, it's fairly pretty varied architecturally. In the main, they're large houses along Tufnells Way.
Can we have a look at the rest of the houses on the road?
Yes, they're very varied at the Tufnells Way. They tend to be large houses.
The design's changing, it was fundamentally different.
I don't think you have a particularly consistent street view on Tufnells Way, other than they're large houses.
It's quite a fundamentally different design.
Yes, they're very variable designs along Tufnells Way.
The street seems very interesting.
Only as far as they're sort of largish properties and it's open. I think you could say in the sense that the street scene is open with trees. And, yeah.
They're not coming any further forward, are they? Because that's the only thing you would say.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the only thing. It is an open street.
It's an open site. As long as they don't come forward. How many was it? 4 bedrooms before?
5.
It was 5 before. It's 5 now. It's 4 before.
I think once they're sort of 4 bedrooms and up.
Well, I was just thinking, just for consistency. I mean, I personally don't see no problem with it, but I mean, we've been saying it's probably moving from 3 to 5. If it's 4 already, then 4 to 5 makes no difference in terms of it's a big family house.
Yes, I think it's when they're. I think it's an issue when they're the smaller properties that we've got a shortage of.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I meant. I was just thinking earlier we'd objected because of it. If it's 4 to 5, it's fine.
I also think that, well, it's irrelevant really, but previously, for me, it was the fact that it was the bungalow. It was the fact that it was a bungalow as well. So you might have older people. And I think in general, if it was a reasonably big plot, we wouldn't have much cause to say you can't go from 3 to 5, just purely for that reason.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I don't have a. I think.
No problem.
I think it's fine. Yes. Get away. Okay.
Put it back. Lots of tape in it.
Yes. Everybody happy? Please stick your hands up in the air, please. Hands in the air. Thank you.
And it's a nicer property and I suppose that
Well, you get that sometimes. You get ones that are considerable improvement. 5191432. Oh, sorry, then I'm going to last year. Sorry. recommend, or what, I suppose the recommendation is grant or whatever it is. Yes. Yes. 519-1432-22 Miley Close, which is a single-storey rear extension, etc., and does not meet the criteria for consideration by the committee. Right, next one we need to look at, since it is largish one, 519-1437, which is a part first floor, part two-storey side extension, single-storey rear extension with roof lights, dormer windows to the front, side and rear, at 5 High Ridge. I don't think I have to quick look at this. I don't think there are any issues on parking or...
No.
No, that's not just past the...
What's that?
Do people want to have a quick look? Yes, please. Yes, please. Let's go
Well,
past
there's
the round. Have the pictures.
If they listen to that advice, then just let's go again a bit, that's all right.
No loss of amenity, parking appears to be for 3 cars, with no change to reduce the
That's
drive.
quite a big site.
Proposed 5 bedrooms.
How many does it take?
Sorry?
How many bedrooms?
It's unclear because they've labelled everything as lounges downstairs. So it's a bit unclear.
I mean, I quite like a property with 4 boundaries, to be fair.
Garages.
Well, that's what it's going to do.
So you've got 2 bedrooms on the ground floor here.
That's in the proposed.
Right.
So there's going to
Yeah.
be 5 bedrooms in the proposed.
Yeah. 2 downstairs, 3 upstairs.
Yeah. Very similar proposal to Neighbour
Yeah, it's
And it's quite it's a big site, it's a comfortable size site, we're not squishing anything in. Squishing in. Okay, so we'll stick a little hands up for you. Thank you. 5. Usual word is no objections. I missed my object. 519-1476. Again, does not meet the criteria required for consideration. 519-1478, which is a discharge of condition and does not require comment by the committee. 519-1500, 30 Hydeview Road. A part single, part two-storey rear extension, alterations to opening, extension of rear patio. I had to look at this as, do people want to look at this? It looks like it's conformed okay. Next one, 519-1249 is the certificate of lawfulness, so we don't need comment. 519-1431, single-storey rear orangery, does not meet the criteria for consideration of the change from conservatory to orangery.
Very half-and development, isn't it?
It reflects global warming.
519-1243, demolition of rear bay window and construction of single-storey rear extension. Again, single-storey does not meet criteria for consideration. 519-1398, which is the construction of 4-bedroom dwelling with detached garage and associated parking, landscaping access, land adjacent to 5 Avenue St Nicholas.
I'm very confused about this one because the house has already been built. It's already there.
Is it?
Yeah.
This is part retrospective, it's like all retrospective.
Yeah. I mean, it's practically ready to move into. Yeah. It seems bizarre. Yeah.
We have a look
Any
at it
help
on
to
the
anyone?
map.
Because when we looked at the map, it was just like
know.
That could be like
Google
2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
6 months old.
Every term, no, it's,
I don't know if it's, I have no idea if it's, can we have a look and see what its status, just have a quick look at what its status is with the district, the ADC.
It's strange that I, on the driving contract, was a letter of objection from somebody who's 3, and he objected to the proposed development, but he hasn't taken it.
oh. Well, I could be drastically misleading you, but there's a house, brand new house in Anderson.
Is it number 4? Is it at number 4?
Yeah, it goes.
Number is the number.
Yeah,
There's a gap.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fault very new.
Oh.
So look at SADC, go find it.
That's the gap, right? And that's the gap. There.
I mean, looking at it, I can't see any reason to object to it. Could we have a quick look at SADC to see where the application is?
That's the right, now I'm orientated now.
Just have a quick look to see where.
So it's pending,
It's pending.
still under consultation.
This is really weird because there is a brand new house in Amnesty on that side. And I'm not sure there's space for another one. Because look, yeah,
There is number 5 in there.
I think number 5 is that one.
So it's there.
Yeah.
Between that one
Yes,
and
we
that
have a Google it, we'll have a look at it.
So Amenbury Lane's there.
That hasn't been there, mate.
So I don't think that one's
one. That's a garden.
yeah.
So the house.
Yeah.
It's a garden.
So
number
that's
1.
the plot, and it goes to the back there, and
So-
the drive, I think, is on there. I'm genuinely confused, because there is a brand new house there, and it's very, very near completion. Yeah.
Presumably the bit that's not near completion.
If anyone's been driving up and down Avenue St Nick's, it has the traffic
I
lights.
tried not to.
Yeah, yeah, so we've had traffic lights up there for the last 2 weeks, because they're just trying.
Because I mean, because there have been several applications for various developments on Avenue St Nick's fairly recently.
Oh, Gart Rollinstead from St Nick's Church, so you've got the Catholic Church on your right, that's the first
It's
turn on
the
the
first, yes, it's the first on your left.
Right, that was it.
Well, that looks like a space which you might put a house in.
Well, that looks like a space where you
Yeah.
can stick a house in. Is that space where something is there now?
Yeah, I'm 99.9% sure it is. Although we could walk, well, particularly with
Well,
Right.
if it says it's parked retrospective, I'm assuming there has to be something there. Rather than just a bit of scruffy old lawn, there has to be something there.
Is it part of the conservation area?
I would think so.
Yes.
it would be.
Does what's been built look like it fits with the street scene?
Oh, it's sort of vaguely.
Well, not in a not, it's objective.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We'd have to go and have a look.
I mean, yeah, it might just be an enforcement issue. If it has been built without the planning, there may be an enforcement issue about, well, somebody thinks they can do that, but if we're not going to object to it anyway.
Well, what I would suggest is probably if we, I mean, first of all, so I don't think in what we've got in front of us there's anything to object to, because
No.
if we
Are we in a position to make a decision?
Can I see the plans?
Well, yes, we could put in, yes, what we would say then, I think, is, but notice, but we could say, but I would suggest that we put a rider to say that it would appear.
So, Chair, I mean, what you're considering tonight is whether it's built or not. So actually, you're considering what the plans are
What
on
plans
paper
are, so we
for
can,
that construction,
That
that
is
four-bedroom
the
dwelling.
house.
that's the
Yeah.
house,
It's
and that's
there.
what we're voting.
Yeah.
But we could presumably put in a rider.
So you're considering the application as
So,
submitted.
as submitted, so we don't really need to put in a rider.
No.
it would be a separate issue. And as I say, I don't know which bit of it's retrospective anyway, offhand. Do we know which bit?
I believe someone said that.
But I think as it stands, we're looking at what's in front of us.
I think it fits with the street scene, and it
Yes.
appears to be a place that we would like a house to be built. So I think, other than being slightly amused at the fact that they've already
They've already got
seemed to have built
So that's,
it.
I mean, that's something that they will pick up on.
Is it a new interview enforcement or?
It's more likely to go for retrospective commission. It's,
Maybe they've been building it for months
Yeah.
and months. This isn't, something that came along.
so so it depends on the retrospective. I mean, it could come up, but normally what would happen is, in fact, it just goes to retrospective. Planning commission is usually what happens. It has to be very, very, very egregious before actually.
No, it
actually
looks
get
all right.
enforcement.
Yeah, it looks all right, it fits in, but just...
Well, we're looking at what we've got in front of us, so we can go just on what we've got in front of us. Are we agreed that it looks okay?
Yep.
Quite nice.
Agreed.
Yes, sorry, yes, thank you.
Well, there you go.
I'll see if it turns up on Monday night, because I think I've been bounced into school.
Oh, right, okay.
Let's see. 1519. What is this? 1446, a certificate of lawfulness, so we don't need to comment. We've done Staker's Court, so we can go to 5191463, which is a part single, part two-storey rear extension, partial garage conversion into habitable accommodation, installation of roof lights, and alteration of curtains, and external finishes at once pools close. And they're fairly large plots there, so...
All they've done on this application, they've done minor alterations, which is reduce the roof height, alterations to some side windows and deluxe roof lights, and reduce the bifold doorways.
So they're just tweaking it.
Yeah, just
So, SAD, you refused it last time? I mean, yeah, sorry.
But yes, but they refused it because they put it in under development. So
I
they
see.
basically said the authority wanted a new application to be submitted for the alterations.
Basically, they build this form off. Or put in the wrong form.
Okay, are we happy with that?
I mean, basically what they're looking at doing is fairly minor. And it's quite a bit, they're quite big plots now, the ones called
If this
so.
is too much for a permitted space.
Yes, it's just isn't quite a bit with permitted.
That's fine, that's
So anybody like to look at the plans? No. Okay, you'll stick a hand up and no objection, thank you. Everyone's hands up. 5191222 is a variation of conditions. So I think that doesn't need to be looked at. 5191277 doesn't meet criteria for consideration with variation of conditions. 5191376 is an external container, retrospective, so obviously they've stuck the container on site anyway. Unit 6, 40 Cold Harbour Lane. And I think we do need to have a look at the location of that. Is that it?
That's it, yeah.
It's not one of our favourites. Oh, it's door to door for sale.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
leaflet
leaflets
droppers.
delivered, droppers.
I like when we use the word proposed in a retrospective.
Yes. Yes. An external container is either there or it's not there, basically.
Well, this doesn't look amazing, does it? But does it look any worse than look to the right-hand side and all the signs and...
Well, the signs are part of that business conglomeration of businesses there, and the rest of the street scene is very clean and open. Although there's businesses down there, they're kept very clean, and now it's starting to look a little bit cluttered.
Have you got space to put it elsewhere?
I don't know. I think there might there's spaces around the back of this.
Would they have access to go around the
I
back there?
don't-
Would there be access?
That I don't know.
Because it would be a river down the back.
Do we know what they're using the containers for?
For storing the
For storage.
Simply storage.
Presumably because they don't have the space inside that building.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the building, I wouldn't think there's a lot of storage space in there. Sort of plans.
Then again, if they, I don't know how big that is, if they got a massive transit van and just parked it there and filled it with leaflets.
It's not on a permanent basis, because that would probably then be a plan.
Probably can move it across in the car park.
With or without.
Well, I think that's what Paul was saying.
It seems slightly other. I think of it as sort of a container like that as a temporary thing. So I don't. I suppose ultimately, in some ways I think okay, it's fine, but I maybe think no, we shouldn't really give long-term planning permission for this. Almost, it's like if they wanted to keep it there 6 months until they expand a bit or something. But to give permanent position for a shipping container just seems a bit of an odd thing to do, but.
But if you approve it, then that will be permanent.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The question is what kind of precedent, I think the main question is what kind of precedent does it set
Yes.
in that particular, does everybody solve their storage problem?
I mean, people have got their bins on
That massive
there,
bin isn't
but
much prettier.
It's not the least street, but I do agree with the comment. In actual fact, it's a relatively clean, cut industrial street. I agree with that. It doesn't quite fit there. My concern, I think, would be more that does it then set a precedent for people just to put containers down wherever they want, particularly since this is retrospective.
It's difficult because you can't, strictly speaking, precedent is not it's not really, in a sense, valid in planning because any application stands on its own merits, and that would include, for instance, in a street, you couldn't say, well, the next door house has done this, therefore I can do it, because that's not a planning issue.
I understand the point.
So you've always got to look what is there now in a planning application. You can't second guess other things. So I think it really boils down to, do we think it's detrimental to a street scene, or what is that part of Cold Harbour Lane is an industrial estate, essentially? Do we think it's...
Can I just ask, you've pinpointed ER1 and ESD2 as to why it does not conform. In what way does ER1 apply?
So I think the observations on, particularly in relation to ER1, would be around it doesn't necessarily enhance that as an employment area. So that would be a reference to ER1 on there.
Well, yes,
Can we go back
could debate
to
that one, couldn't you? Because they could argue that without it, that not having sufficient storage and not having enough on site would be adverse to their business, and they'd have to move. So I think that's a bit of a tricky one to use, because you can argue that one both ways. So personally, I think I'd be a bit careful about the ER1, because it's It's ambivalent in this context.
Yeah. Have we gone past it now? Or it's just there, is it to the
Just
right?
there.
Let's keep
If
going
we
the
go
way.
past and look back,
Do you want me to keep going or is it going to be?
keep going.
Keep going a little bit.
Should we just show the fabric?
Yeah, exactly.
We look back from somewhere
We're in.
else.
I don't know what we're looking at. It's not much different to that clothing bank, is it? But
But that's because that's the mayor, so, isn't it? That one.
I have to be honest, I can't quite...
That's another container, but as you say, inside the back inside.
I think it's, to be honest, I think it's a little bit pushing the boundaries with both policies to say on this. You could only do it on the street scene. I'm certainly thinking SB1 probably you can't. You can argue that two ways.
I'd be inclined not to reject, but I think there's a consensus that it is a detriment to the streets, and so if there's no consensus, then I don't think that's...
No, I'm actually not. I'm with you. I can't get quite excited enough.
No, I can't, because it's not. It's not a very beautiful site anyway, and I don't.
No.
And I think if you look at the different types of business, because every so often different businesses on there, different applications come in for different things along that background, as you can imagine. And I think you do have to take each one. You do have to take each one on its own merits, and I can't really get very excited about that, because I don't think it makes a huge difference to the appearance of that site.
Yeah, it's also, although it's not pretty, it's kind of tucked in the corner where you couldn't
Yes,
use it. If you
it's not.
slammed it right in the middle
Yes.
there and said, why...
They've been as discreet as they can,
Yeah.
I think, about it.
Sorry. I was going to say, is the application from door to door? Because I wouldn't imagine that they own the building. I mean, I know you can apply for planning permission on anyone's land, but
Doesn't matter if it's the owner.
no, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know. It just seems slightly odd. We're effectively given permission for a new. What are we saying? We're giving permission for a new building. I don't know. I find it funny because it's a temporary thing, isn't it? So what do we give permission? Yes, we give permission for a shipping container to be in this location.
Yeah.
Voting from door to door, they are the applicants.
But it's highly unlikely to be a permanent solution to the storage problem, isn't it?
Now I think people do use them all the time.
See?
I think so.
Yes, there are various sites in Harpenden, some of them more noticeable than others, with a container.
Yeah, Chair, I mean, just on that, so if you were looking to have a temporary container somewhere, you'd go down a slightly different
Yes,
planning process.
a different planning process.
So you go down a full
Yes, you would actually go down, yes, you'd be different.
So we've
Yes.
got one ourselves,
We've got one.
Town Council.
I was about to point out, we do actually have one ourselves,
Yeah,
but it's beautiful.
but it's temporary, so, yeah.
What's counted as temporary? I mean, could it be 2 years temporary?
Yeah, so it's duration.
Duration.
And you have to move it at the end of that.
So why don't these people do a temporary...
Some ways I'd
Yeah.
be more keen for them to do like a temporary 2-year one or 3-year one, which I would have no problem with, than to give permission for something, I don't know, which I don't even think of as a building.
Well, I presume, I mean, I can't second guess, but I would presume the reason they've done it that way is probably I would guess there's not enough room to expand the building,
Yeah.
and they haven't got enough storage for their business there, so they either do this or
Well, but they could store it somewhere else. And I mean, the thing is, there are storage units available all around the country, aren't there?
Maybe not at the moment.
not when you're a small, not necessarily when
It's
you're...
all on-
Yeah, but they're not a small business, but yeah, they're a massive business which operate all over the country.
Yes, and they're operating out of
Yes,
that.
yeah.
If it's a leaflet delivery, then they'll want their leaflet
Yes.
close to where...
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't
yeah.
go miles
They
ahead.
won't be able to destroy.
Well, true, but they deliver leaflets just as much in Newcastle and Cornwall.
Yes, but I presume their units, though, was covering a local area.
Yeah.
I mean, that unit will be to cover a defined area locally around, yeah. I don't think they're delivering to Newcastle from Hartford.
Well, I guess
Probably.
they just get shit from the printers. I'm just saying that there are other storage solutions rather than right on the street.
So they could actually just put in an application for a temporary one.
But they haven't, so...
Well, they haven't.
But they haven't, presumably they don't want temporary ones. Yes. I mean, you can't really, yes. I mean, you can either refuse, or you can accept we can't really say, you can put in this and we might. Can you express concern? We could express concern.
Yeah, so what you could say, depending on how you felt about it, so you could say that you have no objection in terms of the application, in terms of the Hartland Neighbourhood Plan, you see no policies that it doesn't conform to. However, the committee would like to note the concern around having containment of this type on a permanent basis around the town. Or,
It's very visible.
Just to lay a marker down with a planning officer in the future, because whilst precedent, you're quite correct, Chair, you can't consider precedent. There is a kind of consistency point from the committee in how it applies the policies available to you. So by laying a marker down like that enables you to perhaps be stronger on another application in the future of a container if it was
if we do get another container down Cold Harbour Lane.
Because you do quite quickly go into a residential area.
It is residential, either going up Fox Lane or straight on to the residential part of Cold Harbour Lane.
Well, I'd express concern. Yes. Okay. Everybody happy with the express concern? Yes. Who has that? Yes, I think that's a good solution. Yes. I think it's difficult to add when I turn it down. I don't think I think the policies aren't really there to turn it down now.
They said it was over like 3 parking spaces, wasn't it? So you could argue you're losing 3 parking spaces in an area of employment where people need to go and park.
But that looks to me like a verge rather than a parking. I mean, if I'm parking my car there, I'd say I'd probably miss the space.
We can say no objection but express concern at.
Beautifully.
So you could say no objection at the start if you want to, or you could just say the committee expresses concern in this application, whilst the committee notes that it conforms to the Hartland Neighbourhood Plan. There is a concern of permitting storage containers of this type on a permanent basis, in areas across the town.
I think we should mention it's very visible. If it was in the back, we wouldn't really be able to.
So visible storage containers in
across the
areas.
Visible from the streets. Developer should just apply for permission to actually build the building, room to let it out.
Probably room on the side.
You could get a decent shed in there.
Yeah, that's it, shed.
519.155. Single-storey site extension, an amendment to the carport which does not meet require criteria for consideration by the committee. 519.1537, single-storey extension to the library at Grove Junior School. I wouldn't see any objection. So this was, people want to have a look at the plan, will they happy with this?
I think we want to encourage both.
Yes, I think we want to encourage library schools. Hands up, yes, and it's a big site, well away from anybody. 519.1516, conversion of garage at 2 Barnfield Court. Does not meet the criteria applied for consideration. Could we just check, is that going to have any adverse effect on parking? I note it says it doesn't meet criteria required for consideration.
So Chair, so we wouldn't necessarily look into that beforehand. So if an application doesn't meet the criteria, unless we're advised by a member of the committee or a resident that we wish to consider it, we wouldn't look into the detail of the applications on those ones.
So do we want to...
So we can look into it.
Could we just have a quick check on... Could we just have a quick...
Which one is it, sorry?
519.1516, it's conversion of the garage.
Okay.
I'm presuming since you said it didn't meet the criteria that it probably didn't. We haven't looked at it.
No.
Yeah, so the criteria is the first screening, so we don't look at detailed applications, we look at the criteria first of all, screen them out and then look in detail. Otherwise we'd be looking at
everything. Could we just very quickly take a look
Yep.
And that now, just
What
to
specifically are you looking for?
just to check that we have the adequate parking. Is the garage being converted into another bedroom? Is it more habitable space? I just wondering what
Yeah,
the
we can check
just
that.
making sure we're not.
Get it on the portal.
I'm just making sure that the parking still meets the policies. If we can have a very quick check on that. This is the garage. And parking is, I don't know what it is.
It's just as you're going up from south down up to Old Woodbury School, near Top Street Way.
Oh yes, I do
First
know where
left
it is.
before Top
Of course
Street
I know
Way,
where
then
it
right
is.
then left.
Yes, because parking can be quite tight along there. Oh, it's that one. Because Farmfield is fairly tight on parking.
So far as some of those game shows we've got, I guess, what's in the next square.
So this is the District Council's new super fast planning portal. Launched this week. That's a joke, that's serious actually. So this has been launched in the last 24
When
hours.
Mary's here, Kenny was in charge of it, wasn't she?
Not evident. So,
I've got a photograph of it on my phone if that's any good. If anyone wants to look at it. 2 Barnfield Court, 4-bedroom detached house. These are the details from Rightmove when it was on the market in December 2017.
Yeah.
what I really want to make sure...
So that white door is the garage being converted into
One
something.
would assume so.
They've got parking in front. It
Looks to be quite a lot of
Looks like they've got loads
parking.
of drive up front and they're just doing...
Yeah.
But if they've got loads of drive, I'm
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
I just wanted to double check that we weren't going to create... Because parking is difficult on Barnfield. That's fine. As long as the parking's adequate, I haven't got a problem with it.
Looks like quite a
But
small
it's
house,
just
quite a
nice to
lot
check
of
these
parking.
things. When you're losing, if you're losing a garage, it's always worthwhile just making sure that it's not going to create a problem. Okay, so we're happy with that. 519.1518, single story rear extension, does not meet requirements, consideration. 519.1521, 7 Barn Scene, doesn't meet criteria for consideration. 519.1528 is a discharge of conditions, so we don't need to comment on that. Okay, we need to look at the next one, which is 519.1541, which is a 2-storey front extension at 2 Hollybush Lane. Is that the one right down on, nearly on the 1081? Yes, that's one right down nearly on the 1081.
For Jesus.
Going over that thing. Who's the front extension of shaded bit on this?
Oh, they've already got permission for a single story extension and they're just now.
Oh,
Elevation. Is that existing or is that the proposed?
Yeah, it's the proposed.
Impact on the neighbouring property.
Flying at you, John. We're flying at you.
so as far as I can tell,
So it's this one here.
It's right on the corner, it's right. It's a property that's, if you're coming off 1081 and turn,
So this
The one with the red
is
car.
two properties.
yeah,
So property in question is this one. Essentially, the extension is coming out this way on this wall.
Where's the other property, sorry?
Here.
No, so
Yeah,
it's, okay,
literally.
already
Yeah.
it's a right angle, it's sort of right
Semi-detached,
angles to it.
So this
Yeah.
this is kind of this comes out already, but this will come out
Even further.
further.
The further.
So you've got the potential impact on these
Well,
windows here.
I
Really.
think you've got, I think there's an issue of loss of amenity, isn't there?
There's a garage
Next
here.
door
This property
property.
has a garage here. There's a double garage here, one for each property.
So do they share that drive then? It looks as though you'd almost like carriage drive in,
They
drive
do,
out.
yeah.
They do.
Yeah, so there's the double garage, which we assume is one for each property. Driveway is not a great image, but it's big enough to get
It's a
two.
sort of carriage.
Two
It's
cars
not going to
around.
block,
It's a sort of
it's not going to block
carriage,
a car coming along.
It's
coming
sort
out
of
so much that it's
It's
going to
sort of
block
a
that
carriage
drive.
driveway serving two
So
properties.
based on what we've seen, they won't be able to do this anymore.
Yeah.
No.
This car will be out here, so essentially
Yeah.
they'll be parking in. So yeah, it comes out this way. There is an objection on the planning portal from another neighbour, not this neighbour here, in relation to these garages that are just back here. Their issue is that when there was a previous development on this site, that it's led to some mould and damp issues within the garages there. So it's not relevant to this application, but it's the only objection that's on the portal.
Having said that, they've already got the ground floor objection, haven't they? Sorry, they've already got the ground floor permission, is that what you're saying? At the front?
Yeah.
So the blocking the car issue is already
Yeah.
Yeah.
solved an
Yeah.
issue anyway.
Yeah.
It's just the next
It's-
level.
But it's
That's
the
it, yeah.
effect of
The extra
extending
bulk.
another story.
Yeah.
I think the issue is the effect on the amenity of the next door property. Okay.
Where's it thinking? It's funny you want to visualise this.
I think this picture sort of helps. I think that's the best picture because you can just sort of imagine this, you've got this here.
Yes, because it's slightly
Come-
unusual configuration, having
This
houses
is
with
it's on the
effectively
tour.
a right angle. one
Yeah,
another.
that's the picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I think-
is.
So it's 1.2 metres coming out, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a further 1.2 metres coming out from there. And this application is for two-storey front extension, so you're...
So they're going to take the front out even
Yeah.
further than it has been extended already.
How far out? Because on this, it doesn't look like it's coming out a great deal. I mean, that suggests to me that it's only sort of to the level of that porch on the neighbouring house.
Yeah, it's 1.2 metres that's coming out in addition.
Right.
Well, yes, but it's coming out to the level of that porch. That's going to affect the amenity of that property, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quite a long way out.
But they've got permission to go out that way. As you say, the first story, it's only about the second story we're talking about. Takes the light out. Top windows.
To hide their house away as you come up this way.
It does bury that second property a bit, doesn't it? It does bury that. But if we've got the pushing for the first floor,
It's like what is to the right of it. We've still got light, haven't we? Whereas you imagine that's two-storey, it seems the effect it has. Looking like...
I think the garage was next to us.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think if you two-storey, it's definitely going to block the other.
I mean, obviously there's a precedent that it's a lot easier, if you like, to get planning permission for a ground floor extension than a two-storey extension, isn't it? I mean, that's most of the applications.
Well,
Well,
yes, because
lots of them.
it's a second story, much more likely to. You can have a first floor extension where it doesn't have detrimental effect.
Yeah.
on
Also, it's quite
amenity,
unusual
whereas
that it's on,
the two-storey one obviously can.
yeah. Also, it's slightly unusual that it's on the front as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Most of the side or rear.
Where's the front door at the moment? Where's the front door?
I think it's to the side.
Is it
It's pointing out that way.
I think it's at the side there.
It's pointing out that way.
Tucked in there, is that
Yes,
right?
that's front there. It's a weird one. It's an unusual configuration, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Well, I suppose it's designed to fit in the plot. that was available.
Yeah.
But my view is that it's a second, to do up to the second story is a step too far, and it's going to have an unacceptably degree of adverse effect on the neighbour's amenity.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think I do. Right, because you're expressing concern of views, but yeah.
Not the worst I've seen, but, you know, I'm not going to go...
It's not
go
worth
against-
it. I
not
mean,
gonna
it's not the
go
worst
against
I've
some
seen,
people.
but it is going to have an adverse.
Yeah,
It will have an adverse. I
I
think
suspect
it
that
will
will
have
get
an
through
adverse.
in the end.
Yes, I mean, we can either, so councillors, we can either recommend refusal or we can express concern.
I'd be inclined to express concern, but then if the majority is in favour, I wouldn't be sort of particularly averse to refusal.
And at the end of the day, we're making a recommendation. And unless it's put in, it's probably not a discussion.
And presumably we don't know whether the neighbour objects. Because in some ways that's if the neighbour isn't objecting, and they own the house and they live there and they know what's going
And
on,
they're
but
not
that's
objecting.
not how we should make the decision.
Oh,
But
I know, because you don't know if they're intimidated.
yeah, exactly.
Yes. So how do we want to go? Do we want to refuse or express concern? Let's all shout at once. All right, let's go this way. Who wants to refuse? Put your hands up.
I think I do, yeah.
Borderline, but yeah.
So,
What is that? One,
How many
two,
are
three, four.
That's for...
Three against.
Yeah, we do. We're all concerned people.
Oh, yes, so I can express
you're
concern,
concerned
yeah.
people.
Not that
Yes.
strong. Okay, so it's been carried.
Good, we
Yeah.
go. All right. I mean,
Agreed.
So let's go for
we'll
concern.
go. Okay. It's going to be recommended refusal. And they'll take a decision, and they'll obviously take a view at district on whether it's sufficient, sufficient adverse effect on the neighbour's amenity. It's a borderline one.
It was the difference between a 9 out of 10 preference and an 8 out of 10 preference.
Right, that brings us to the end of all the applications. There is one appeal. I think this is the one appeal.
Is that the Salisbury Avenue?
Yes, that's the Salisbury Avenue one. What a surprise.
What? I read the, you know.
Yeah.
What's our role in this? We just
No,
noting
we just
the
note
appeal?
it. You can only, I don't know if we've met this before, but just to say, Carl may have already explained this to you, you can only comment on an appeal if there is new something
Okay.
new. If there's nothing new, you just leave it to the inspector. You can't.
Sure.
There's nothing to comment on. You can't comment. And then we've got. Then there's the list of the weekly list of decisions, for noting, and then there is the pre-applications. Did anybody have any pre-applications they wanted to raise any issues about? I mean, basically, Mr. Branch, the tree officer.
You call Mr. Branch?
Yes, seriously, it's
Yeah.
the tree officer is Mr. Branch. Yes, he's actually Mr. Abraham.
I have an opener, a TPO at the bottom of my garden, and I couldn't believe it when it needed just a little bit of trivia. I had to go to Mr. Branch.
Okay.
Should be on private eye or something like that.
Mr. Branch is reflected.
I don't think I noticed any that I felt particularly needed any comments. Did anybody see anything that was raised on the tree applications? No, I didn't see any. In that case, council, I can...
Can I just